Welcome to Spacevidcast 4.08 for Friday, April 1st, 2011. My name is Benjamin Higginbotham. With me, as always, is beautiful, lovely, wonderful, and talented Carrie Ann Higginbotham. And we've been doing this show for about...
a little over 4 years.
A little over 4 years now. And from the beginning, we've always wanted to really make the show into something big, something awesome. And that requires not just money. I mean, it certainly takes money for the hosting and for the travel and going to the launch events, but it also takes time as well. And decent facilities. And up until this point, we've been very lucky to be here at the Crow River Coffee Company, but we're going to be announcing a little change tonight. We're excited to say that we have actually been acquired by Masten Space Systems, as you can see in the banner at the bottom. And Spacevidcast, shortly after STS-134, will be moving down to Florida, where Masten is setting up a whole new team in that area. We'll be part of that. And we will be doing this full time. So we'll have more time to be dedicating to the shows. A lot of you Spacevidcast regulars have noticed that I have not been available recently, and I've been working on some back-end projects. Well, this is what we have been working on. And so we're very excited to announce our acquisition of Masten Space Systems. And we'll still be Spacevidcast, and we're still going to be under the Spacevidcast name.
I'm still voting for Space Masten Cast. There's just a certain ring to that.
Yeah.
But I am not growing a beard. All right, it's not going to happen.
We will be most likely going off the air after STS-134 just for a little while we do the transition, because we will have to physically move from this facility to the other. But yeah, very, very exciting time for us. On that note, let's go ahead and get started. Did you just Friday me?
What? Really? You couldn't even Rickroll? It had to be...
Yeah, the Friday.
I do appreciate the 10-year-olds driving the car, though.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing.
All right. So let's go ahead and get started with some space news. Actually, you nerded out on STS-134. Carrie Ann has two big nerd crushes. Right? For those of you who don't know, the first is Blair Allen, right?
Yep.
Jeez, like Chris and Blair. Blair Allen from NASA Edge. Huge nerd crush on Blair. And you're excited because?
Because he's going to be at STS-134.
He's going to be at STS-134. So Spacevidcast and NASA Edge will be able to finally meet up in person.
In person!
So you get to meet
Blair. Like in real life! Oh my God!
All right. So yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. Your second nerd crush...
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Is Seth Green.
Yes! Seth Green.
And...
Seth Green is going to be the launch.
And
Seth Green is going to be the launch. He's going to be the launch. He's part of the Tweetup. I'm so excited. Oh my God.
And Seth Green... Calm down, woman.
Sorry.
Jeez. Seth Green will be at the Tweetup, we found out. And actually, we've got a shot of... Here's how we found it out. We were looking for the people that were accepted to the Tweetup, and if you look at the top of that graphic...
You can see Tiffany.
You can see... And then you've got Seth Green at the bottom, and then at the very top, Geordie LaForge.
Geordie LaForge.
Also going to be at the Tweetup.
Oh, cool is that?
It's going to be a giant nerdgasm.
It's going to be... Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So if I'm a little pink... It may not be because of the sun.
Oh my
It may be
gosh.
because I'm blushing to the hilt.
That's how we're opening the show.
Yeah.
With your nerd geek crushery.
I know. Masten Space Systems. Yeah, no, that's cool. But I'm going to meet Seth Green.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yay.
I could meet Seth Green.
So that'll be a lot of fun. And if Seth is cool with it, and I don't know if he will be, he might be, go away. But
I'm sorry, who are you?
So yeah, first off, anyone who's going to be at the Tweetup who watches Spacevidcast, if you wouldn't mind snagging him and bringing him over to our tent, interrupt whatever we're doing, because whatever
He's
we're
little,
doing,
so it should be easy.
Yeah, exactly. Just pick him up. Just steal him. You can just, he's like
tiny.
a leprechaun. So snag him, bring him over to us. You can interrupt whatever we're doing, because we're cool like that, and we enjoy having the Tweetup people.
Dude, we dropped everything for Bill Nye. You think we won't drop everything for Seth Green?
We dropped an astronaut for Bill Nye.
Drop-kicked an astronaut, as a matter of fact.
We did.
For Bill Nye.
So yeah, just come on over. And by the way, even if you don't get Seth Green and you're at the Tweetup, come on over to our booth anyhow. Come on in and say hi.
Please do.
It's pretty awesome.
For sure. And go see NASA Edge as well. They will be doing a live broadcast, supposedly right next to us. See us first, because we're way cooler. Sorry, love you, Blair. But they should be doing a live broadcast as well, and they would like to have that kind of interaction too. So,
Yep.
Yay.
So speaking of going to the Tweetup, STS-134, there's a possible delay for STS. I know. There are stories. We'll tell the story.
You get me so happy, and then you break me down.
It's possibly going to be delayed until April 29th, 2011. Very, very small possibility of this delay.
Yeah.
This is a story that you can get on nasaspaceflight.com. URLs in the doobly-doo down below. But basically, it's the Progress M10 that's going to be in the way. It's a dual docking configuration problem. They can't have both of these vehicles docked to the International Space Station at the same time. So, and apparently there's a biological experiment on the Progress. Normally what they could do is just launch the Progress, and then, because the shuttle will already be docked, launch it and just kind of have it hang out in space for a little while, and then once they're safe to dock, then they could go dock. The problem is there's a biological experiment on board, which means that they need to get it to the International Space Station within 1 or 2 days. So they can't just keep it in space for a long time. So they've got a couple options here. They could move the experiment to Endeavour. They could simply launch at a later date. They could launch the Space Shuttle at a later date. Or they could find a way around the docking, the dual docking. There's a name for it. It's the...
I never remember what it is.
I'll find it. No, it's got an acronym.
It does. Of course it does. Is it NCF, like not carry forward by any chance? Because that was the one I screwed up with on today. And now we're both looking for it.
Yeah,
this
whatever.
Is awesome.
There's a TLA that goes with the dual docking thing, and it's going to bother me, and I'll come up with it later. So anyhow, possible delay for STS-134. Chances are not likely that it will happen, but
it's still there. It's still a possibility.
Absolutely. So something you guys should be aware about. I certainly hope that doesn't happen. And speaking of the space shuttle, the final flight of Space Shuttle Atlantis. Because we had the first final flight, now we've got the final flight on STS-135, which also happens to be the final flight of the Space Shuttle program ever.
Yes.
They are currently stacking the solid rocket boosters in the vehicle assembly building. So this is pretty much it. This is the end. It also kind of shows that, you know, we're kind of go-ish for STS-135. We're at a point where we've got the hardware, we're stacking the hardware. Now, they need it for STS-335 regardless, but, I mean, it's sounding more and more like this is a real mission.
Ish, just to be clear.
If you were watching our STS-133 coverage, we had, who was on that said, it was
B.N. Jacobs.
B.N. Jacobs basically said...
Bob Jacobs, sorry. He's B.N. Jacobs on Twitter.
He basically said, this mission is all but go. No matter what, we've pretty much found out how to fund this thing.
Yeah.
We still don't have an official word on this. Like, I'm waiting for NASA to say this is officially go. We have money in hand.
Yeah.
I really want them to say we have money in hand. The mission is, but there's, regardless, it really seems like Atlanta.
But you understand what I'm saying. I mean, they're already started stacking. It's sort of like they kind of want to be as prepared as possible for sort of like when they get the money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but they still need STS-335. That was always planned.
Yes,
so Atlantis was always going to be prepped for 335. So there would have been a stacking regardless. All of this would have been there regardless. But you know, it's happening now, right? Mm-hmm. You can see the end in sight. Very possible chance it'll be 2011 when the end is.
Right.
If you talk to any Spacevidcasters in the room, a lot of them will say, well, they may delay that till 2012. Even the people we talk to inside of NASA are like, yeah, that June time frame's not looking so hot. Maybe August. But you know,
the
we'll
early
see.
rumblings.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it is what it is. But speaking of actual launches, there was a recent launch of an Ariane 5, and we have got some video coverage of that because we're a space show. So check out this Ariane 5 launch coverage. I'll stop for a moment.
Okay, we're down to it. The famous countdown to the launch. And tonight, Yasat 1A and Intelsat New Dawn, here it comes.
À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage Vulcain.
That's no good. That's
That looks like, yeah.
Yeah. That's not what's supposed to happen.
Can't even really cook ramen with that
So
kind of flame.
much like the space shuttle, or a Lego space shuttle, as I'm pointing to, the Ariane 5 has those 2 solid rocket boosters on either side, and the main engine, the computers noticed a problem and did not launch the solid rocket boosters at T plus, I believe it's T plus 7 seconds. And the engine actually stayed on for a little while longer, which is why you did not see the vehicle launch. And one of the, so everyone assumes at 0 the vehicle's supposed to lift off.
Right.
But you'll notice that they don't actually ignite the engine until 0.
Right.
And then the space shuttle, they ignited at negative 6.6. Oh, that's right, 6.6 seconds. So it's just a different way of counting down the timelines. And so, that was actually the first time
Since 1979.
that it failed to launch.
Dude.
Now, it
That's
wasn't.
quite the track record.
It is quite the track
You know
record,
what I mean?
and at least it was a launch abort and not an actual launch failure. Those are
Yeah,
2 different things, right?
yeah,
a launch
yeah,
failure,
yeah.
like loss of vehicle, that would be even worse. In this instance, it was a launch abort. They'll go in to figure out what happened, blah, blah, blah. They'll
Right.
relaunch the vehicle. For whatever reason, and maybe I'm mistaken, it just feels like Ariane Space is not doing so well this year. And maybe this is me being crazy, but they had this, it feels like Vega's been delayed, and I can't put my finger on
Yeah.
it, but it feels like they're just having a rough year.
Well, it is only April. Right?
I suppose.
I mean,
That's
we're
true.
we're barely into the second quarter of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it that way.
True. All right, maybe it was 2010. Anyhow.
Okay.
And so there you go. So give it-
So there you go.
how neat was that?
That was pretty neat.
But speaking of successes, how about that?
Okay. I'll take that.
Messenger spacecraft, which entered Mercury's orbit not that long ago, sending back some really, really beautiful pictures. Check out the
Gorgeous.
first images that are coming back from the Messenger spacecraft. I almost called it the Mercury spacecraft.
Yeah.
So here's what's the
It's kind of the Mercury
funky part is a lot of the. If I didn't tell you that this was coming from Mercury, you'd probably think that these were shots of our moon.
I would totally 100% say the moon.
Actually, there is a shot. I believe they spun her around and got a shot of Earth. No, that's not correct. I think
that
I
is.
think it's just a yeah.
But that almost looks, I mean, is that a pole? That almost looks like water,
Kinda, yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
some of those images from Mars.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, it's
yeah.
the watermelon planet. Come on, right? It looks like a Dulcinea. Anyway, sorry, I'm
So
around
yeah,
food way too much.
I just thought it was just really beautiful pictures, and how
Beautiful.
can you be a space show without showing the really pretty pictures from the multi-million-dollar spacecrafts that we
There you
send
go.
up there.
That's us.
Yeah, just nice shots all the way around.
Yeah, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. So it's awesome that we're getting some of those first images back so soon, and they're so beautiful, so crisp, so clear. That my understanding is that they are starting the very, very beginnings of starting to look for water or possible signs of water on Mercury.
That's what we do best. We look for water. And if they need someone to program a spacecraft to slam into the surface of Mercury, we've got just the guy for that.
We know a guy.
We know a guy.
Awesome.
Speaking of really pretty pictures, here's one that you found.
Oh, Aurora Borealis.
Pretty.
So the Aurora Borealis has to do with the magnetosphere, is that correct?
There you go.
I got the word right. So proud of myself.
Blair would be proud of you too.
Yes, this is true. Anyway, so that creates these gorgeous, beautiful, moving, I don't want to say just colors, but there's these almost ghostly images of Aurora Borealis. And these images, this video is taken from the latest fantastic show in Norway. It's amazing. A guy took like a whole week to take these images.
Check it out.
Beautiful.
They're beautiful. pretty.
It's gorgeous, right?
Yeah, one of my favorite things. We're lucky enough to be in Minnesota, and if we go far enough north, we can actually see the northern lights, the Aurora Borealis, and they are absolutely stunning. Now, we ourselves right now are in the Minneapolis proper area, so there's too much city light. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But as the sun's solar activity increases, first off, we're going to watch that through SDO, which is going to be awesome.
Heck yes.
Yeah, I love the imagery from the sun that's coming back from SDO, the Solar Dynamics Observatory. But as that activity increases, the Aurora Borealis will increase in intensity as well, and you'll be able to see it further and further south. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see it as far south as Florida, so that will be a bit of a bummer. But come back up and visit family and then go up north.
Reason it's called Northern Lights.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
On that note, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, a little bit more space news geekery. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Happy Yuri's Night, 2011. You know, Yuri Gagarin circled the Earth above the atmosphere, had to jump out of his capsule on the way down in 1961. So it was 50 years ago.
On that, April 12th, that day, humanity changed. We became a species that was no longer confined to the Earth.
What people used to dream about came true. The reality is, in those 50 years, human beings have fulfilled a ambition that's existed in the human spirit for thousands of years before.
Space exploration brings out the best in us, brings out the best in humans.
I think that orbital perspective that you get when you look down at this planet hanging in the blackness of space is something that can't help but to affect you in some way.
I think that the concept of planet Earth is coming from human spaceflight. Our future is global.
I think back about that Christmas Eve where we, for the first time, we saw an Earthrise on the lunar horizon. I think the way we looked at our planet, the way we looked at ourselves, changed forever. We're all in this together. We're all riding through this spaceship through the universe that we call planet Earth, and it's something that we need to take care of, and we need to take care of each other. It really put a focus on who we are as a species, who we are as inhabitants of planet Earth.
50 years ago, they knew not only the dream, but how hard it was going to be to accomplish the dream. Yuri Gagarin went to space not being positive that he would be able to return alive. Most of the people who followed him in the early days had the same understanding, that there was no guarantee.
Just think what the next 50 years are going to be. It's going to be, if I may, unrecognizable in a cool way.
Well, I think that the transition that will mark the next 50 years is that we will go from placing representatives of our species in orbit to placing human society in orbit. This is going to be the challenge for the next 50 years, not just the technology of moving people and their machines to great distances, but finding out how human beings will interrelate with each other in an environment where they are definitely dependent on each other and in a set of circumstances totally different from the ones in which we evolved as a species.
I hope that includes, establishing outposts in different parts of the solar system, maybe starting with the moon. We have asteroids, Mars, and someday, going beyond our solar system with human exploration.
We need the dream, we need to work hard, we need to plan, and we need the dare.
If the opportunity comes up, I'm going.
And welcome back to Masten Cast. That's gonna be cool.
Right?
Yeah,
it has a nice ring to it.
Still haven't figured out the entire transition, like how we're gonna get the gear from here down to there without going offline. But
without going offline.
Well, right? I mean, you got to transport the stuff. So.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So
you
just saw the Yuri's Night contest, and you've with some news about Yuri's Night.
Yes. So first of all of those amazing contests, all three of them. There are three separate.
With really cool prizes, by the way.
Really amazing prizes. Well, let me see if I can grab that really quickly. But all three of them, all of the deadlines have been extended to April 15th, which is 3 days after the momentous day. Just so you know. Just want to be very clear about this.
But let's talk about what you're getting here, because one of the prizes, you're getting a parabolic flight in Russia.
Yes.
Not now, the U.S. flights are cool, but the Russian flights are less restrictive, so you can do more, right? I mean, they're just like, whatever, go. That's my Russian accent. That was terrible.
That was awesome.
That was awful.
In Russia, 0G does you.
That was awful, too. All right, we're not doing that anymore. The second prize is going and watching a Soyuz launch.
Yes.
And again, much like in the U.S., they're much less restrictive with those safety concerns, so you can get a lot closer to the vehicle.
You get a gas mask, but you can stand this close.
Kind of. So you can get a lot. Actually, I've got a video where they had a rocket with a stage failure, so it basically fell back down to Earth, and they were close enough where you could actually see the shockwave hit them, and then there was an EMP pulse that hit them as well and knocked the camera out for a second. That's how close you're going to be able to get. Don't be scared by that, because it's really cool, not really scary. And then the third prize is cash money. $500 cold hard cash.
Who doesn't like that?
I like it. So those are the prizes you can get for the Yuri's Night contests, and you can get more information blam, blam, at that URL at the bottom of your screen in the doobly-doo.
Look at you. Very, very nice.
You like that?
Yeah, I do. I do. So there's the video contest, there's the sweepstakes, and then there's the ad contest. All the details are, of course, at the link. We've been throwing this information at you for a little bit now, so please, please, please make sure you get your name in, be creative, do something interesting, or at least just get your name in on the sweepstakes. Just toss your name into the hat and see what happens, right? And when you win, let us know so we can tag along.
See if I line up just right.
Yeah.
There you go. Just like that. Oh, wait. Just like that.
Oh, your mother would be so proud.
All right. So we talked about old space.
Wait, but really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Can we give these away?
I forgot. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have a couple. We have gotten our hands, our grubby little hands. Well, not our hands.
By the way, this is what happens when you watch live.
Exactly.
Yep.
Tim has gotten his grubby little hands on the Yuri's Day. It's not a comic book. I keep saying this. It's a graphic novel. Okay? The Yuri's Day Road to the Stars graphic novel. Yeah, here's a couple pictures here.
I love that picture.
Right?
Yes.
How epic is that?
Yes. They are not kidding around with that vehicle right there.
It's going up. It may not go where you wanted to go, but it's definitely going.
Let's throw some more engines on something we're Russian. Let's go.
I love it. That totally makes me laugh. In any case, so we can give away 2 of these this week. I believe we can give away 1 or 2 more next week as well. And if we are very lucky, we might be able to give away some more during our Yuri's Night mega event.
So do we have a contest right now that people can go into and win one right now on the air?
There isn't. I figured we would do the simple way of whoever retweeted, because I did warn you if you were here for pre-show, to retweet something about very specific about our show.
Okay.
Because I figured.
So who wins? Let's pick a winner right now.
I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if there's. I know all of these names. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, well, all right. So, all right. Someone say stop in the chat room.
La la, la la.
There you go. Chris Radcliffe, congratulations.
Yay! Chris Radcliffe gets one. And
from the
let's
Space
do another
Travelers
one.
Emporium. And by the way, welcome Emporium.
Yeah, welcome Emporium.
All right. So Chris Radcliffe, you've won the first graphic novel, and we'll give away another one in post-show, right? Because we can give away 2 during the show. So for those of you watching live, stay with us during post-show. We'll give another one away. Or actually, you know what we'll do? We're going to tell you how to win one in post-show. So either if you watch the post-show live or if you're a Spacevidcast Epic subscriber, you can figure out how to win one, and we'll give you the instructions when we hit post-show. So moving on.
Yes.
Great. So let's talk new space now. The BBC has got the first journalist ever allowed in the Spaceship 2 vehicle. It's really cool. Crazy. So they've got a bunch of different articles, a bunch of different videos online, 3 separate videos. We kind of condensed these 3 videos into a much shorter single video for you guys to watch, because not only do they get to go into Spaceship 2, they kind of walk around Spaceport America a little bit and show you what it's looking like. And this is kind of the most recent stuff that I've been able to see.
Gorgeous.
It's pretty cool. So here's a quick snippet of the clips from the BBC.
Well, this is the Virgin Galactic spaceship. It's going to be taking paying passengers into space from hopefully 2013. So let's take a look inside. Now, it's my first time inside a spaceship, and in fact, It's the first time that any journalist has been allowed in here. It's obviously not finished at the moment, but the pilots will sit here, and there'll be 6 passengers sitting 3 along each side of the spaceship. They'll be able to look out of these windows and see the blue sky of the Earth turning first purple and then into the blackness of space. The roar of the rocket motor behind them will disappear. The rush of the atmosphere along the outside of the spaceship will vanish. And when they hear the silence that's left and see the blackness outside, they'll know that they're in space. They'll then get around 5 minutes floating in this cabin. But of course, every spaceship needs a pilot. One of those is Pete Siebold. So tell me, Pete, the big question, what is this like to fly?
Oh, it's just exhilarating. It's an amazing craft, and I've had the chance and the opportunity to fly it twice now, and have a total of 15 minutes of flight time on the airplane.
It's not, of course, the most aerodynamic of craft, though, is it? I mean, is it a bit like flying a brick down to Earth?
It is. Each flight is about 12 minutes in duration, and we release from an altitude in the 40,000-foot range and fly it down to a nice soft touchdown at the Mojave Spaceport.
And where do you see this sitting within the whole overall space program, and where space trips or exploration goes from here?
Well, I think we recognize that suborbital commercial space flight is a stepping stone to the orbital space flight, and we think that for us it's the ideal stepping stone for taking the airplane to that next level and allowing passengers to experience space and the views from those altitudes in our unique configuration.
Well, this is the Norman Foster designed spaceport terminal. Dave Wilson is from Spaceport America. What is so important about this site?
This site's important because of its vast open space and its remoteness, low density of population, this wonderful blue sky, stable weather window that we have here. We're under probably 7,500 miles of restricted airspace adjacent to White Sands Missile Range, which they operate out of. So there's this whole synergy that happens here that's very hard to replicate. It's the ideal place to conduct an operation like this.
And what is your dream? What do you hope to achieve?
We want to change the way we go to space. We want to lower the cost of going to space. And I think what will come out of here is we will change the way people fly long distances, and we will change the way we get into space. And commercial space is about going to space at a lower cost.
Well, inside the terminal, this is the spaceship hangar. It's where the spaceships will live. And in this space here will sit one of the carrier planes that will carry the spaceships, taking off from the runway up to about 50,000 feet or so before releasing the spaceship for its journey into space. And there'll be 2 of those carrier planes, one on this side ready to go out through those doors which slide open, and another over the other side of the hangar. And together with those 2 carrier planes, there'll be 5 spaceships. Why are there 2 carrier planes but 5 spaceships? Well, that's so that whilst some of them are going up to space, the others can have maintenance performed on them. And they hope that in that way they can do 2 or maybe 3 flights a day. The astronauts will come along this corridor and they'll be able to look down on the spaceship hangar and see the spaceships that they're going to be taking their journey into space in. And then they'll come into this space here, and this will probably be used for training. They're not exactly sure what sort of training is going to be required at the moment. It depends on the regulations and what's needed. And just beneath this floor is mission control. That's where everything will be looked after, of course. And then there's this viewing gallery, and this is where friends, family will be able to see their loved ones go out onto the runway and take their steps into space.
Now you can get even more of that on the link that's at the bottom of your that was at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, nice editing, John. By the way.
Thank you.
That wow. Because it was really long, and he would just went ping, 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 and.
Yep. Yeah, so there's a lot more on the BBC website. It's definitely worth a read and a watch because there's an article that goes with it as well. And really awesome stuff happening, not just at Virgin Galactic, but over at Spaceport America. That whole thing is coming together.
We were in that area for the Northrop Grumman Lunar Lander Challenge, or whatever it is called now, and there was nothing there, and it was like future, area of the Spaceport America, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. It was literally just an open field. It was
sand.
Absolutely nothing. Well, I think there was one of those weird birds there, but yeah, nothing, absolutely nothing, and I was like, oh, that'll be cool one day, I'm sure. And now looking at those pictures,
really
It's
coming along.
amazing. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I'm excited for Spaceport America. I mean, Virgin Galactic will be cool, but Spaceport America is going to be a really awesome place.
Yeah.
And I love all the thought that they put into how you get from point A to point B. It's not just you getting on your suborbital flight. It's an experience from the moment you step foot in Spaceport America.
Yeah.
You are experiencing the whole thing, and that's going to be really cool. The part of the interview that I really liked and that I definitely wanted to make sure I left in there was them talking about the future and saying that suborbital is just a stepping stone, and they realize that.
Yes.
So, there you go. And I agree, right? We did the same thing with Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo.
Yep.
Suborbital, orbital, you step up. And there's no reason that private space shouldn't do anything different. Right?
Exactly.
So speaking of private space companies and big, huge, and awesome announcements, SpaceX has released a teaser. Boom! SpaceX. Wait, synchronize it. 3, 2, 1, boom! SpaceX has released a teaser video, and we can't figure out what they're teasing. It's very difficult to figure out. Here you go. Check it out. Here you go. Thanks, chat room, for explaining to me that it's the Falcon 9 Heavy. I never could have guessed that from the giant graphic of the Falcon 9 Heavy and the FH.
SpaceX is.
They're going to release the rocket. So, the Falcon 9 Heavy will most likely be in now. I mean,
Or the Falcon Heavy, the Heavy Falcon.
It's the same exact spacecraft made with lead. That's the. It's heavier.
It's very, very heavy.
It's a chat room. Just making sure. Yeah, no, obviously it's the Falcon 9 Heavy. I kind of, they could have teased that video without actually having the F9H.
Yeah, one would think.
Right? Because it'd be like, hey, we got something big. Let's strum up some excitement at the
Because
end.
it's not really a teaser then. It's sort of like a teeny tiny little short video about the Falcon.
Yeah, and I was drawn in, right? So I'm watching this video. I'm like, oh my God, what are they? They're going to do something. They're going to, oops, Falcon 9 Heavy.
Yep.
So,
that's kind of how I felt.
It'll be cool. It's been on their roadmap for quite a while, and I don't know what they're going to be announcing on. It was April 5th, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know what they'll
probably
be announcing.
Another stepping stone.
They'll probably just be talking about
3 months out.
3 months out. That's what they're going to be announcing.
That's what I would announce. Okay.
I'm gonna put off the last story until next week. I think we've hit the 30-minute mark, so I think we'll end the show right here. I did want to thank everyone for joining us on our April 1st edition. Should we tell them?
Well, all right. If you haven't figured it out yet, Spacevidcast has not been acquired by Masten Space Systems, as much as we'd like to be, but we haven't been. We will not be changing our name to any sort of Mastencast, although it has such a good ring to it. Really, Dave, you should think about it.
I am just saying we are ready for acquisition. Just throw that out there.
Wow. That's what he said.
We fooled everyone in the chat room. They're all saying how fooled they were.
They are so
They
fooled.
were so fooled.
Actually, the best person who was fooled was my father-in-law, who thought we said Master Space Systems.
And wrote that on my wall.
Mastercast.
I have the best parents in the world.
Yes, love you, mom dog, dad dog, love you lots. Love you, Dave. Thank you so much for letting us poke a little bit of fun at you. Although really it's mostly just Tiffany's fault. So happy April Fools, everyone. And thank you for joining us, of course, as always.
On that note, thank you everyone so much for watching. For those of you watching live, stay tuned. Spacevidcast After Dark is up next. If you're an Epic subscriber and you didn't get to watch it live, you can do so. Otherwise, you can go to spacevidcast.com/epic, sign up for access so you can get access to the show after the show.
No,
wait, what was that? No,
/epic.
Oh.
No, really?
Yeah,
okay, no.
No, that one worked way better.
That was better.
Yeah, that was way better.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week.